Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the Great Gibraltar Draft and that with Hound Dogs. Before we get started, of course, make sure you leave a like, subscribe to the channel so you get to see more of this fantastic content that's going to be coming your way over the next few weeks. But let's jump into it. So it's the halfway through the season, basically. I won't show you the schedule just yet because what we have to do, of course, is show you how we've got to this stage, and then we'll be able to jump into our game against College 75 before the kind of break in the competition with a few cup games coming up. But let's take a look. So following a great 4-2 win in our first game against St Joseph, a 5-1 loss to Lions followed. It really was a game that didn't deserve that scoreline. It was very, very even. Sessignon obviously getting the first goal, quickly followed by the second of the game, which was a very simple Hennessy over the top ball, went all the way through to Sessignon again, and this time he dinked the keeper, very nicely, but it's not what you want to see as a manager, just the one long ball going over the top and being able to beat all of your defenders. But they were able to then get a third to rub it in even more. Jerome Sinclair just before half-time to make it 3-0 at the interval. We did come out and react, though. We did manage to get a goal 6 minutes in. Snodgrass ball into the box. Graziano Pella managed to win that one. I thought, maybe this second half's going to be ours for the taking. Unfortunately not, as they did get a fourth almost straight away. A ball through to Jerome Sinclair, and this time it was him to finish a plum into the top right-hand corner. And they wrap things up with a fifth late on into the game in the 80th minute, with Jerome Sinclair again being involved, cutting it back to Sessignon, who scores an absolutely worldie of a goal for 5-1. We did manage to bounce back, though, with a 4-2 win against Lynx. Graziano Pella, this time coming forward, comes provider for Romero, who's fired it past the keeper. What a lovely strike that was for 1-0. They did get one back, though. Van Queer into Hardebo, Pandev, then Sonogo, and the ball through to Hockey, who was able to get that into the bottom left-hand corner, levelled things. But we instantly responded only minutes later, where Oviedo was coming forward down this left-hand side, looked to get a crossing, fell back to Pereira de Sá, who ball over the top to Oviedo again, managed to fire it across the box for Barebacks to reach it at the back stick for 2-1. We then made sure to have doubled our lead once more to 3-1 in the second half. A long ball over the top for Maximiliano Romero to get through and goal, and a lovely little finish there. We then increased our lead further with a fourth goal. Langkamp inside to Hamza, forward to Pella, Oviedo, Romero. Some lovely little bits of football here. Keita looking through to Romero again, who scored his second, and that was the fourth for us. They did get one more consolation goal late on in the game. We were looking to break forward, but they managed to switch things up. Yaya Sonogo's flick on for Pandev, and Pandev never misses from there, making it 4-2. We kept the high-scoring games coming with a 3-2 win against Europa Point. Bayback getting a header from a Oviedo corner initially to give us the lead. And almost identical. Oviedo, again, coming provider from a corner for Maximiliano Romero. They did get one back, though, to make it 2-1. This time, Vela's receiving the ball on short, and a long range effort from Nunez to score an absolute beautiful goal. We did get the third, though, to get that 2-goal cushion again. Another corner, Dede this time heading home. They did, like I mentioned, get one late on into the game to get the 3-2 result, but we were able to hold on for another win in the tournament. Our first game in the October, though, was a loss to Europa FC. 2-0, in fact. A flick on by Johnson onto Long, and he was able to round the keeper and pop it into an open net. And they got a second as well just before half-time. Each end of this first half, they managed to score with another long ball forward. It comes through to Long, and once again, he is through to just slot it past the keeper. A lot of long balls, 2-0. Something we do like to do, though, is bounce back, and we did against Mons Calpe, 3-1 this one. We took the lead early on with a lovely ball to the back stick where Romero was able to head past the keeper. A second came not long after that in the first half, to allow us to get a 2-goal lead. A long ball forward. We've seen a lot of these before in previous games, and Romero was able to fire past the keeper after the mistake by the centre half. And then a third was instantly happened again. Keita this time receiving the ball. Simpson then bareback was taken on his defender on the right hand side. He fired the ball low across the box, and Oviedo was on the end of it this time to make it 3-1. We did score an own goal, but just after that, it was disallowed. After that, though, it did end up for Mons Kalp getting a goal with Nias header, but it ended for us 3-1. That was then followed by a nightmare showing, a 6-1 loss to Lincoln. We might have signed most of their players in the summer, but they are certainly absolutely dominated us here. Adelson was able to play it back to Pedro Martin for the first one. Their second one came again not long after in the first half with a through ball to Lyons Foster, who just little dink over the keeper, was able to finish that one off easily. And their third of the half wasn't then long after from the spot, Adelson firing into the bottom right-hand corner. That continued into the second half, though, as they got another 3. This time, Adelson provided a corner in for De Jong to head past the keeper. And then again, Cresswell this time driving forward into the centre of midfield. Ali Akessan through to Pedro Martin, who this time scores in the near post. And their sixth and final goal of the game came later on this time from a free kick. A lovely strike by the Chinese international Elkerson for that one. We did manage to get one back, though, a consolation in the 90th minute. Quaresma on the ball, looking back to Keita, played it across to Ramirez, whose long-range effort was a great goal, but unfortunately 6-1 to Lincoln. And finally, on the bounce back, as we do, a 3-1 win against Glasses United. Oviedo delivering for Pella at the back post from a corner to make it 1-0. They did respond very well. Again, another long ball over the top to Garnacho, who ran through on goal to slot it past the keeper. We might have to start looking at how to avoid having to deal with those long balls, that's for sure. Halderson, though, responded again, a long ball through, Pella with the flick on, and Romero smashing it past the keeper for 2-1. Exactly how we want to see those goals to go in. And then we got a third in the 60th minute where Shabalala was able to play back to Oviedo, who dinked the ball over to Romero. His shot was saved, but Pella was there to head home for 3-1. And there you go. That is it. It's been very up and down. After a win, there's a loss, and after a loss, there's a win. So hopefully we don't keep that form going, and we actually get a win today against College 75, and then go into the cup competitions with a bit of momentum. Hopefully, we have beaten both of those sides in the league that we've got in the Pepe Reyes Cup and the Intermediate League Cup. So hopefully it'll be fine. But with that said, we will go into today's game. It is obviously against College 75. We are sticking with the 4-4-2, but I think what we might do is just drop the defence slightly, and maybe... No, we'll leave it high, so we'll really spread the pitch. We'll see how this goes. We could always use an offside trap, but I'm really not sure on that. So we're going to stick with this, see if it works, see if it helps try and curtail those long balls over the top of the defence from the keeper, who's, I'm sure the keepers have got plenty of assists this season for everyone. But this is the side we're going with. So we've got Halderson in goal, Simpson at right back, Oviedo at left back, Dede and Sergio Silva at centre half. Bareback on the right, Snodgrass on the left, Ramirez and Keita in the middle. And then we've got Pella and Romero up top. Romero's been a great signing. He's come in, banged in the goals. Very much worth that money we've spent on him. He's nearly got a goal a game. And Pella's doing very well, partnered with him up top. So it's good to see kind of those two working quite well together. We've also got the likes of Quaresma on the bench, Giovinco, Shabalala, Wagner-Love, Pereira de Sá and Cipollina. So there's plenty available. Figueroa will be retiring at the end of this season. Not surprising. He's 39 years old now, so I mean, it's impressive that he's managed to play for this long. We might offer him a deal to see if he fancies becoming a coach here, because it's always fun to have a former player there. But otherwise, that's the lineup. That's what we're going for at the start of today's game. We'll have to see how it goes against the College 75 side, who I don't actually know where they are in the league. It's probably something we should take a look at. But they've got Ole Gunnar Solskjaer as their manager still from the original draft. They are just above us. So it's quite the game to get involved with Punchin's long-range free kick being the initial viewing for us. But that goes high and wide, and we're able to deal with it comfortably in the end. But yeah, they're only just above us. If we get a win today, I think we might go above them if we get a good goal difference change, but not entirely sure. Danny Simpson working on this right-hand side, fires it in. Graziano Pella's there, and it's a lovely header at the back post. It's what he does best in the air, dominating, and nods it down to the goal where he's standing, and it's a 1-0 lead. Danny Simpson did really well on this side. Indicator, he played it back to Danny Simpson, who turns his man, manages to get a yard to fire that ball across, and he knows that Pella's going to be in there fighting for that header and to slot it home. Brian Oviedo has been fantastic. He's been fantastic this season with goals, contributions, as well as going forward. But we have had to slot him slightly further back more recently because of injuries. But he normally would probably play on the kind of left midfield role. But College 75 themselves have a big target man up top, Leonardo Ulloa, which they're looking for there. And it is a lovely volley there by him for his 8th goal of the season. Great strike by College 75 for Ulloa. Lovely stuff. I mean, you can't really argue with that. We maybe could have dealt with the first header initially a bit better. Ozueta maybe got a bit too much time on the ball with Simpson there. But again, I don't know where our defenders are marking him because they are all over the shop. I mean, why is Ramirez there when Dede should be marking the man? I don't know. But draw's a draw at the moment. It's fine. We haven't drawn so far this season, so it might be quite nice to freshen things up with a draw. They've still got a good few players in there. Ivanovic, obviously, from the draft. You've got Ulloa, as we know, the likes of Punchin and Yanga and Biwa as well in there. Toby Amol as well for the side. Looks a very good player. We had him, obviously, in the EC save, so we know what he can do, especially as he's at such a young age at the moment. But Bareback looks out wide to Simpson, who's driving down this right-hand side. Can he get another delivery onto the box, maybe? Create another goal-scoring opportunity for Pella or Romero in there. Dede plays it back to Keita after receiving it. They're just keeping it between themselves. They don't need to share the ball with anyone else. As we're reaching half-time now, we're looking quite confident on the ball as it goes forward to Keita. He looks to turn, but plays it back to Sergio Silva, who looks for that massive switch to Brian Oviedo, which it works. He's got it. He just needs to try and get a ball across, which he does do. And somehow Pella has just smashed that wide. I have no idea what happened there, but he has absolutely rifled that away from goal. Almost like he was defending the goal for a moment there as we're getting closer and closer to half-time, but we're still seeing the highlights as Graziano Pella comes forward, plays in Romero, then through to Bareback, who's one-on-one with the keeper, and Danny Jimenez is able to match him and save that and poke it out for a corner ball. Can we get something from this corner? We've seen multiple times where we've been able to get goals from corners. Brian Oviedo's delivery. This time, Jimenez comes out and claims it very confidently. But we're looking good. We're looking very good in this game. I say that as Kirby has a corner for College 75, and Unzeta almost scores at the near post with a header. But I think that might be it for the first half as we go into half-time at 1-1. Not a bad result so far. I'm pretty happy with that. Robert Snodgrass, maybe we could look to take off and Shabalala can come on that left-hand side for him there. Or maybe we could push Brian Oviedo a bit further forward and bring on Joseph Cipollina. I think we might do that and get Brian Oviedo a bit more into the game. Ramirez has been a bit poor, so we will bring on Pereira de Sá as well. Still got a couple of players we can bring on that can change the game if needed. But I think that's a good enough change so far. Pereira de Sá's pretty decent in there. He'll be fine. And pushing Oviedo a bit further up the pitch, hopefully he can contribute to the attacking play a bit more. Dede does well to win that header as it falls to Gallian on the edge of the box. We have pressed him, but he's managed to turn the defender quite easily and gets another ball into the box. Simpson goes up for it. I mean, Dede has just took that away from the keeper. I mean, he's having not the best game, I'll be honest, from what we've seen. There's been a couple of moments, but Pereira de Sá does really well to get onto the end of that as he looks forward to Romero. He's got a lot to do with a lot of college players around him, but finds Oviedo, who's with him. We've got a few players forward. It's a long-range effort by Oviedo, who maybe got a bit excited. Now he's further up the pitch. Unfortunately, does hit it wide off the target. Reaching the arrow point, looking good so far. Still at 1-1, but it does look like College is now driving forward again on this left-hand side. A bit of a through ball. Danny Simpson's not quite able to deal with it. It's a good challenge by Bareback, but does fall back to him. They weren't overly happy with the challenge, but Kirby finds Pennant, who looks through to Ojoa, and Uzueta's kept his run going. Looks for a kind of a dink over Halderson, who's not having any of that, and is able to just grab that without any issues whatsoever. But at 1-1, we're still going strong. They're looking a bit more dominant now this half as they come forward again. Galan into Uzueta. Looks to play it back to Rafferty into Kirby. He looks forward, but Keita is able to head that clear. Rafferty looks down the line again to Uzueta. He's cutting inside this time. Plays it back to Punchin. Jason Punchin on the ball comfortably again. Loads of time and space as we've not got enough pressure on him at the moment. They look wide again as we're still very tight, very narrow. Oh, is that a penalty? Because it looks like it might have been. Simpson didn't get to that ball. And it looks like he has given away a penalty. We're going to have to react to this if they do manage to put it past Halderson. Halderson, he can save a penalty. We know that. But will he be able to in this situation? Not quite. I mean, it's not a great penalty. And Halderson was very close to getting his hands on that to stop it from going in. But Leonardo Ojoa, fighting for top goal scorer this season, I'm sure, with 9 goals already this season. And it's not great. Currently we're still in that form of winning and losing constantly. Let's see if we can continue to change that. That would be appreciated for sure. So with that said, we've only got 5 minutes to go. What can we do? Romero's not done great today. I think we'll bring on Sebastian Giovenco. Maybe he can make something happen in the last few minutes and we'll go attacking. It's looking less and less likely that anything's going to happen now. Maybe we should have tried a bit more to get something from that. But, I mean, it's a shame, really. We're giving away a penalty. Danny Simpson was very good to start with in the game, getting a lovely cross in for Pella. But not enough, to be honest. Not enough to stop them from winning the penalty late on. And Simpson giving away that one. But there you go. It happens sometimes. I'm sure we can bounce back. We've got a couple of cup competitions now to have a go at. So we can see how far we can go in that. And we'll come back a little later on, depending on kind of how those cups go and kind of what's ahead of us in the season after an up and down kind of start. But with that said, thank you very much for watching. Make sure you leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and I will catch you in the next one. See you then.